There's so many moments in this episode that just make me love Ainz's character more than I already do. And I think the term falling into success is what best describes Ainz. Essentially, in this episode, from his point of view, basically, when you look at it, I'm going to take all these great workers, and you know what? Probably you don't really trust the labor laws of my kingdom. You know, I am a skeleton, I get it. So he's just doing his damnedest to make the best labor laws so that when people come to check in, all's well that ends well. And ultimately, really from their point of view, this is an evil, undead supreme being, essentially taking political prisoners. We are fully convinced that they will end up dead, used, turned to slaves. We just want to see, are you willing to show us them after you take them? And this, for whatever reason, is saying, yeah, sure, no problem. That has to throw them into such disarray that is hilarious to think about. But I think one of the best moments is the idea of the sword. He pulls out a sword that apparently has 20 runes engraved into it. He's like, hey, could you do this? They're saying, no, the best that's ever happened is 6, and that's on basically the king's hammer. And what's funny is, even though it's not confirmed, based on his real-world items from when he played the game, right? I am fully convinced that sword was not made by any dwarves. So ultimately, he just probably gave these down in the dumps, holy shit, they just threw us away because they don't believe in our skills anymore. The whole runecrafting thing, the fact that they didn't even argue a couple of them, no, they literally gave the entire group to Ainz, this person they very much fear. So the fact of the matter is, they really haven't been able to flex their craft for some time. And here comes this dude who's saying there's this loss, whatever happened back in the day, some masterclass dwarves made a sword with 20 runes in it. So they're going to work their ass off to get to that moment. It's entirely possible 6 is the actual limit, but given Ainz and what he does to characters, the term falling into success really goes to show that they will make a sword with 20 runes, even though the sword he showed them most likely was not even made of runes to begin with. It was probably just some goddamn sword from the game, right? You know, just something that was just powerful with a bunch of buffs and stuff. I love the fact that this man, whether intentionally or not, just really ends up creating something that is pure chaos, but because he falls into that success, it's usually not something to worry about all too much. Or even, I think, my favorite point, when you look at it from his point of view, he literally sent what should be powerful foot soldiers, but unless you're probably level 45 or in that area, there's no way someone could fight and kill a Death Knight, let alone 2 at the exact same time. So when he sees them go away, his natural thought is, oh shit, I finally found a player. I found the person most likely responsible for Shaltyr's brainwashing. Like, this is the moment that is going to be basically my all for nothing. Like, I have to make sure I'm powerful enough. I have to figure out, can they be an ally to me? I mean, the dude has so many thoughts going on in his head, and at the end of the episode, you have Aura of whole characters be like, what if they just kind of fell off, you know? Because obviously, why would the bridge be down if ultimately there was someone strong enough to kill 2 Death Knights? And I love how he ends up shushing, because he's in the middle of this big moment of trying to teach Shaltyr, who's on her own kind of quest to redeem herself after what seems to be her biggest failure of essentially going against the Supreme One. And it is hilarious to see how this man goes about his day, because these are all moments when you look at it from his point of view of why he thinks, oh, they want to just make sure I have good labor laws, or oh shit, a player is literally the only one who should be able to kill 2 Death Knights as quickly as that, because up until this point, who has he met that could kill 2 Death Knights that quickly? Only himself. Obviously, yes, accidents can happen as seen by the bridge getting cut off, but it's hilarious, man. Like, from giving dwarves who have really not been able to flex their craft and to think this is all they can do, now have what should be an impossible goal that will probably be made possible as they work their ass off for this dude who makes them shit their pants at first, but now realizes that maybe working for him is actually so much better. Just look at Gondo at the end of the episode. The dude was crying, man. I felt bad for him because literally his people are abandoning the ways that he holds so dear. Not just giving a couple of the skilled trades people, no. The whole group was given to someone who he knows damn well, like they were shitting their pants looking at him. So from his point of view, not only are they abandoning their most talented people, they're most likely abandoning it to someone that they believe will kill said people. So there's so many different emotions at play. And I love how there's just these moments throughout the episode where you get a sense of just the original person who was Ainz back in the day, just his giddy like, yes, that really went well, I'm doing everything right. And he kind of just feels like a schoolboy who just realized that summer break just started. It's so great though to see this episode, and I'm glad that the dwarves were actually shitting their pants, because initially when he went in, I was kind of surprised, because even though dwarves in terms of personality are, I think, a lot more, they kind of butt heads with characters a lot more, they're a lot more in your face, or they're very, I think in terms of military might slash royalty, I kind of feel like dwarves can probably have the best conversations when it comes to something that a human or an elf would immediately attack against, especially given when that person literally came to your door. Yeah, it's kind of scary, but literally we're about to get killed by monsters. We gotta take the help we can get and think about the consequences afterwards. And the whole idea that throughout the entire meeting there was like some pushback, but it wasn't to the point that I thought it would be. And I love how after he leaves, they all start shitting their pants. Like, there's one dude who's just like the master of brewery who's saying, well, he doesn't drink, so obviously I can't trust him. You have a dude who's just like basically ready to throw fists, and then just so many people just literally shitting their pants in the process. But it's interesting to see how something that easily in any other person's hands would have resulted in a worse case than what Ainz ended up doing, because they thought things through. But because there is that misunderstanding, things worked out in his favor, which goes back to the term falling into success. Hell, you can look at the Emperor a couple episodes back. He made the most correct decision any logical, intelligent person would do. From his point of view, Ainz literally was there to destroy his plans. The only thing you can do is become a vassal state to this person. Had you had an idiot at the helm of controlling the empire, everything would have worked out a lot more smoothly because of not knowing logic, and the fact of why he was there could have been a coincidence. But because the Emperor is someone who's actually intelligent for his job, but just from his point of view, Ainz is doing things that are foiling his plan, he ended up losing so much control. And I love the fact that for someone who, similar, just doesn't know a lot of what's happening around, because from his point of view, he's trying to discover, where are these other players? Most likely there aren't other players. Who made this sword? Well, it's probably just your sword from the game. It wasn't actually an in-world reason here, you know? All these things in the way they kind of connect, it's hilarious to see how he ends up falling into success in the way that he does, but in return builds all these connections that really just put him on this pedestal that could never be toppled. This season of Overlord is hands down my favorite season of Overlord. It is absolutely fantastic. I'm glad that they didn't just rush past the dwarf story. I was a little worried, to be honest, because anytime I'm like, yes, finally, we're going to be focusing on, in my opinion, one of the most interesting races in a fictional story, and like they last barely any moments, and the fight was fairly quick, all things considered. I was like, shit man, are they just gonna rush through this? And instead they took their time, and still are taking their time exploring this culture. And I love the look of their city there, the underground buildings, and the way they're all lined. I think they're doing the justice to what this story in terms of a dwarven kind of like conflict should be. And I think the reasons for pushback slash fear slash reluctant acceptance makes total sense for basically the positions that they're all part of. And it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here, but I'm excited, man. Just when you think you can't love Ainz's antics anymore, in comes political prisoners, you know, giving them an impossible task slash thinking there's a player when really it was just cutting of the bridge. But leave it to Ainz, man. That's why we love him. Thoughts down below, theories if you got any, do let me know. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here. Until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.